boys and girls. We're going to continue reading Miss Yonkers' Bonkers. Chapter 10, The Greatest Invention in the History of the World. The next morning, Mr. Klutz came into our class with his bald head. Tomorrow, Dr. Garbles is coming to visit our school, Mr. Klutz said. He is the president of the Board of Education. He wants to see if we're making progress with bringing our school into the 21st century. So I expect all of you to be on your best behavior. We will, we all said. Is our computer teacher tied up in the dungeon, being shot with laser beams? Emily asked. Not that I know of, Mr. Klutz replied. In fact, I think Miss Yonkers is in the computer lab working on her lesson plans now. We were all happy that Miss Yonkers was back at school, but when we saw her in the computer lab, she looked really tired. She told us she didn't get any sleep last night. I was thinking about you kids, she said, and I think I came up with the solution to your problem. She pulled out a sheet off of a computer in the corner. Attached to the computer was a box that sort of looked like a big microwave oven. What's that? Michael asked. I call it the JFT, junk food transformer. Watch this, Miss Yonkers said. She took a piece of broccoli out of a bag of her desk and put it in the junk food transformer. Then she typed something on the computer board, and the microwave thing buzzed for a minute or so, and then a bell rang. Miss Yonkers opened the door, and you'll never believe what was in there. A York peppermint patty. Wow, we all shouted. What happened to the broccoli? Asked Andrea. The junk food transformer turned it into a York peppermint patty, said Miss Yonkers. She unwrapped the peppermint patty and took a bite out of it. That's impossible, Ryan said. It's a trick. Do you think so? Miss Yonkers said. Well, watch this. She took a handful of green beans, the most vile, disgusting food in the history of the world, and put it into the junk food transformer. Then she typed something on the keyboard. The microwave thing started buzzing again. When the bell rang, Miss Yonkers opened the door. Do you know what's inside? 3 Hershey bars. Wow, we all shouted. Miss Yonkers peeled off her wrapper and gave each of us a piece. It tastes just like chocolate, marveled Michael. It is chocolate, said Miss Yonkers. Yet it has all the vitamins and nutrients of green beans. The junk food transformer turns healthy food into healthy junk food. It's amazing, shouted Andrea. You should get a Nobel Prize, I told Miss Yonkers. Say, can the junk food transformer turn junk food into healthy food? Why would anyone want to do that, I asked. Ryan is weird. Miss Yonkers said it was okay for us to go back to our classroom and get our healthy lunches from our cubbies. I never ran so fast in my sorry, boys and girls, in my whole life. When we got back to the computer lab, Mrs. Yonkers had a grocery bag filled with fruits and vegetables on her desk. We spent the rest of the class turning all the healthy food into junk food. It was the greatest day of my life. We had made milk dugs, sugar daddies, airheads, warheads, ring pops, push pops, blow pops, pop rocks. We ended up with so much candy, gum, and lollipops, it looked like Halloween. There was no way we were going to eat it all. When the bell rang, it was time to go. We stashed a bunch of candy in Miss Yonkers' closet. This is the greatest invention in the history of the world, I told Miss Yonkers. Shh, she said, don't tell anybody yet. It'll be our little secret. Chapter 11, Send in the Clones. Keeping secrets is hard. I wanted to tell my parents about the junk food transformer. I wanted to tell my friend Billy, who lives around the corner. I wanted to tell somebody. But I didn't. My lips were sealed. But not with glue or anything. That would be weird. The next morning, Miss Patty made an announcement over the loudspeaker. Miss Yonkers is absent today, but please go to the computer lab at your regular scheduled time. That was weird. If Miss Yonkers was absent, who would be our computer teacher? All day long, we wondered. Finally, it was time for computer class. We rushed down the hall. We opened the door of the computer lab, and you'll never believe in 1,000,000 years who was standing there. It was a robot. Sit down, the robot commanded in a computery voice. Pay attention. The robot looked a lot like Miss Yonkers, even wore a Nerds Are Cool t-shirt and a fake cheese head. Miss Yonkers is not feeling well, said the robot. I am Miss Robot Yonkers. I will be your teacher today. Wow, Miss Yonkers built her own robot substitute teacher. Cool. We used to have a sub named Miss Todd, but then she tried to murder Miss Daisy and take her job. Miss Todd is odd. Remember, Miss Yonkers told us that she had so much work she wished she could clone herself. Andrea said as she sat down. Well, I guess she figured out how to do it. Clones are cool. My friend Billy who lives around the corner, told me that scientists have cloned sheep, cats, and cows, but no one has ever cloned a person before. Stop talking, said Miss Yonkers. Fold your feet, keep your hands on the floor. She sounded almost like a real teacher. Miss Yonkers, I said, I have a question. State your question, said Yonkers. Fireman, banana, stomach, pitchfork, I asked. I do not understand the question. Please repeat the question. Football, my orange telephone, I asked. Does not compute, said Miss Robot Yonkers. Please repeat. Watermelon, lawn, chair, atomic, bicycle, I asked. What are you doing, Arlo? Asked Andrea. Computers aren't very good at understanding language, I said. I'm yanking her chain. That's what you're supposed to do to substitute teachers. It's the first rule of being a kid. I do not understand, said Miss Robot Yonkers. Monsters, my upside-down moon machine, I asked. Stop it, Arlo, Andrea said. You're going to get us in trouble. But it was too late. We were already in trouble. Miss Yonkers started shaking and twisting. System error, system error, system error, she droned. Smoke was coming out of her head, and sparks were shooting out of her neck. She started turning around in circles and bumping into desks. I think she blew a circuit, said Michael. Miss Robot Yonkers was rolling crazily around the computer lab, crashing into everything in her path. Kids were diving out of the way, running for their lives. Shouted Neil, the new kid. I'll get Mr. Klutz, yelled Andrea as they ran out of the lab. Miss Yonkers was bouncing around the computer lab like a pinball. She was out of control, and finally Mr. Klutz came running in. What's wrong? He yelled. Miss Yonkers has gone berserk, I told him. Leave it to me, Mr. Klutz said. I used to work with computers in my younger days. Where does Miss Yonkers keep the robot's remote control? In a remote location, I said. System error, system error, system error. As Miss Yonkers spun around in circles, one of her arms hit Emily before she could duck out of the way. Ah, my head! Emily was on the floor, freaking out as usual. Call Miss Cooney, shouted Mr. Klutz. Tell her to bring her first aid kit. Miss Yonkers was running around the computer lab. Mr. Klutz was running around the computer lab, and all the kids were running around the computer lab. It was like a scene from the movie King Kong, when King Kong breaks his chain and went running around the streets of New York, and everyone is going crazy.